Oh, I'm here, Neo. I'm here. Welcome to the show, everybody. My name is Stuart Davis. I'm a flawed man of God. I have officially reached overall wearing status on the length of my beard. And so now I'm doing it. Welcome, everybody. Tonight on A Flawed Man of God, we've made it to Friday. Well, let me tell you a little bit about the show with my normal intro. I'm a deacon at a small church just outside of Richmond, Virginia. I'm not a pastor, not a biblical scholar, haven't been to seminary. Not trying to get you to join my church or donate to any special cause. Just here to talk about the Bible, talk about God, Jesus, the Holy Spirit, talk about Christian issues, talk about topics and world events through the perspective of myself, who I consider to be a typical average Christian, 40 years non-denominational Protestant. Don't subscribe to any particular doctrine or denomination, just in the word every day. And tonight we have a casual Friday. Casual Friday. And not only that, my friends, the fast is over. And while I said I was going to have a milkshake, I'm not. But I did get this limeade. Look, folks, there are few things in life that I appreciate as much, worldly things in life, that I appreciate as much as a good Sonic limeade. Y'all, it's delicious. And I've been unable to get any for the last 40 days. You bring up a good point. The shake it's not a shake, but it is a limeade, but it is sober. Not for long. Now, normally, I prefer. Hey, what's going on, Abandoned Virginia? Hey, what's going on, Abandoned Virginia? What's going on, Brian? Limeade is great from Sonic. Dude, it's awesome. That's right. Overalls. I'm from Virginia. I have a long enough beard to wear this. I'll be okay. So generally, the bumpkin in me, as I am in as I am in traditional bumpkin garb, when I'm going to spike a limeade, I do it with Everclear. But I don't have any on me right now. And unfortunately, my bumpkinness does not extend up to the hills of West Virginia. So I don't have any moonshine. But I do have some nice vodka, deep run. What do you think about the UFOs being shot down? Well, I think that's uniquely interesting that a UFO, unidentified flying object, if it is of extraterrestrial origin, I actually have a guest coming on at some point. I reached out to him. We're going to try to schedule. We've talked in the past about trying to schedule this so I can get his he's got a better Christian perspective, a better scriptural perspective on things. It's better. But I think that if it was a extraterrestrial unidentified flying object, that it would be odd that such a craft, able to navigate the cosmos could be shot down so easily with missiles that we could, even our own countermeasures can oftentimes spoof. And getting flares. We shot them down. Supposedly spy balloons. I can believe that. I don't know. My faith and trust in the government is at an all-time low right now. In times like that, give it to God. All the people in D.C. seem shocked about something. Also, why did Kennedy say lock your doors tonight? Look, if I was a Kennedy, I would be afraid of everything. Those guys die off left and right. A very interesting thing, and I'm trying to remember where I had this information, but for a long time, the government perpetuated the idea of UFOs, Roswell, Area 51. They perpetuate like this interest, this public interest in it, because it's an easy way to and cheap way to wag the dog on some issues, right? If the government is false flag and red herring whatever about UFOs, and they know that people don't believe them, maybe they play into that. Maybe Kennedy was joking too. I didn't see what he said. I've been relaxing tonight. Been relaxing all day. Well, for the most part, been cleaning up a lot of stuff at work, getting that stuff done. Nibbling on these Danish butter cookies. They're so delicious. So excited that I can go back to having sweets again. So it'd be interesting. Few things surprise me anymore, Brian. Few things do. Like, I can't think of anything that's really shocking me. But it seems to be, there's so much production over all this. As we're looking for things to entertain us. We are a nation without purpose right now. We are glued to our phones, watching Instagram videos and dummies talking about God on YouTube. We don't have a unifying purpose. We don't have a great war. Getting into the Fight Club book of our Great War. We don't have the Great World War like the previous generations. We kind of exist with all this technology to make life easy. We're so sedentary. And it's not just sedentary of physical labor. So much of what we do is sedentary of the mind. I don't know how to get past that. I don't know how we move past that. I thought Blaine would have something else to say other than just overalls. I thought he was going to have a follow-up comment. How is everybody doing tonight? Everybody doing pretty good? Nico, Neo, Blaine? I was working from home today, watching this The Alec Murdoch Alec Murdoch trial, and it's interesting. Porcupine, you're exhausted. Me too, buddy. Me too. Long week. Excited to be back. Excited to be back on live for everything. Ready for the glue factory. Neo, don't say things like that. Blaine, watch who you're threatening. Never threaten a man in overalls watching anime, but if you want, I'll snatch you up like a toddler when you wear an outfit like that. Look, just because you're not secure enough in your masculinity to wear these. What's up with the EIEIO clothes? Oh, man, guys, look, when was the last time any of y'all wore overalls? Let me guess. The last time many of you wore overalls, the brand name on the front of them was Oshkosh. Bagosh. Look, it had been a while for me. I'm not cosplaying tonight. Guys, y'all don't understand. Overalls, so comfortable. They're so comfortable. I put these on. Yeah, Neo's the good one here. Everybody was between 2 and 5 years old, except for me and Neo. Neo last wore some 2 years ago. Get yourself a pair of overalls. It's freeing. It's a freeing thing. When you wear overalls, people look at you and they understand that either you're a farmer or you don't care. Right? Now, they might look a little bit more odd in the cities like Seattle. I'm sure we won't see Blaine serving up his Japanese cuisine in overalls. I have a straw hat. Look, and me and Abandoned Virginia used to work together. And you should know. You No, these came I think these are Craftsman brand. I thought I got them from Bass Pro. I'm pretty sure they came from Bass Pro. I was going to say I thought they were Redhead, but they're not. There's the Craftsman on them. Yeah. Maybe I got them from Home Depot or Lowe's. Got them from Lowe's. Only plumbers and mechanics named Bubba can wear overalls. I've been called Bubba, and I have been a mechanic before, so I am qualified to wear them. Also, Nernath, you left out farmers. Again, don't understand. But Abandoned Virginia and I used to work together, and you should remember, Brian, that I used to wear. I do have a straw cowboy hat. I don't know where it is. Stand by. I can't make that work. And my channel ain't much, but it's honest work. It's not a framed. Yes, there is a stream. It's not a framed picture of Kyle Busch. In fact, when that print was made, Kyle Busch wasn't even a race car driver. Thank you very much. That's real racers up there. That's real racers. Plus, Kyle Busch, I think up until this year, was racing in Toyotas. And as every true fan of speed knows, Toyotas are garbage and useless in racing. Much like spoilers. I said when the C5R in the background has a quite large spoiler on the back. That is the 24 Hours of Le Mans at Daytona. And you see the cat in the background. Not Sterling Marlin. No, my guy was Earnhardt, and then Mark Martin, and then Juan Montoya. The Earnhardt thing obviously didn't last after. Well, we know. So I lost a bunch of viewers. Everybody left. Everybody left. I'm not ashamed. I'm not ashamed of who I am and where I come from. I'll wear this every time I go to stream. Nope. No chewing tobacco in there. I was wondering what kind of feedback I was going to get when I wore these overalls. And I'm surprised I didn't get a somewhat similar reaction when I started wearing the flannel. I think that's because flannel has been partially hijacked by metrosexuals living in the Pacific Northwest talking about anime. Like, it's going to be my candy pouch. Porcupine. By the way, this Deep Run vodka, Abandoned Virginia, not all that far away from where you are. I have not seen a flannel weeb yet. Hopefully it stays that way. I am the bearded YouTuber. Look, I saw, if you guys go back and you look at a year ago, what I looked like on the stream, the vodka is good. The vodkas are good inside the limeade. Now, I'm not promoting. Any flannel people I see are usually armed and bearded. What is Cinerator? Alex, that's probably a product of the blue collar lifestyle that you lead. Are any of them forklift certified, though? Cinerator hot cinnamon whiskey serves up the heat like no other. 91 proof? That's not bad. Not bad. Yes, they are. Yes, they are forklift certified, as I have been. It's I've been very accomplished in my life. Very accomplished. Oh, look. Neo is forklift certified. I'm forklift certified. Alex, are you forklift certified? Here's a real question. Is Blaine forklift certified? But I have it every night before bed. My doctor told me that's not a good idea. Don't listen to doctors. That's about how we do it. That's about how we do it, Brian. And it's out in Hanover, especially old Hanover, and King William. That's how you grow up. Can I get on the forklift? Yes. How do I drive it? Well, this goes up, this moves it to the side, this tilts. All right. Funny thing. So I'm gonna share a story. It's about a year old. This story is about a year old. It's one of my favorite memories of an elder recently deceased. He would die a few months later. We were at an event at his farm, and he has got two big German Shepherds. Two big German Shepherds. Absolute great to be around, but they play like large dogs. And he's got this big stick, right? And he is tossing it. Well, he hands it to me. And so I reach back and I chuck that thing, and it lands on the top of the of his one of his equipment barns. And these are the big ones. This is big enough for maybe a combine will fit in it. Large tractor, definitely. Because the thing just kind of sailed out of my hand. I'm not saying I'm got a good arm. I actually don't have the strongest arm out there. I just flung it and just went right up there. And his German Shepherd looked back like I was an idiot. And then he looked at me like I was retarded. And he just walked off. And I felt like an ass. That's how that's just how it was. Well, he comes back with one of these industrial big tire forklifts with a pallet on it. And he drives it up to the barn, and he looks at me and I go, all right. He goes, and so I got on. He lifts me up. I get up on the barn roof, grab the stick, throw it down. Everybody cheers and laughs. I get back on, they drop it down. And that's what it was. It's a great fun time story. And I don't know. I don't know how great of a story that is to listen to, but thinking back on it, it was just a really cool interaction with somebody I had a great deal of respect for, but hadn't really gotten to know a whole lot yet. And that was kind of in the middle of me and him having talking more and communicating more. And like I said, when he passed away, it was I felt a little cheated. I felt like I'd been felt like I'd missed out on a lot of good opportunities for mentorship. From him, he mentored to many people, and many people respected him, and I respected a lot of the things that he did for the church and his attitude regarding it. So that was great. But yeah, that's a great forklift story. I have another forklift story where, okay, so a little bit more disagreeable in my youth. I was 20 at the time, and I was working I was 20 at the time, working as a guy putting flooring into trailers, like little equipment trailers. Some that you would put like landscaping equipment in. Small 8-foot trailers all the way up to 20, 22-foot car haulers and, tractor haulers, wooden boards. And I would put them in. Honest work, simple work, but honest. It was fun. It's just me, probably the best shape of my life. Just because I was lifting a lot of lumber at the time and just moving around. Is this the kind of comment? Is this the kind of comment that one Christian says to his brother Christian? All my forklift stories are about them being unable to lift your mom. It's awful. What an awful thing to say. Let's all take a minute to shame Blaine and then pray that his attitude improves. What an absolute disaster of a human being. All right. Blaine, you should be ashamed of yourself. Anyway, so I was putting these boards together. Why do y'all take his side? Look, Blaine's a bad guy. Blaine's the heel. Now, on this channel, Blaine is the heel. Disaster was after that train in Ohio hit your mom. Look, I thought that cloud in the sky meant your mom had taken a giant dump in a field. So putting together these boards, I worked by myself for the most part. They would go through the assembly line, getting assembled, get painted, come out. The electrician, older guy, wire up the trailer. Then it would come for me for the boards, and then we would stack them up and ship them out to the different buyers. So they hire a guy to do more, to kind of transport some of the goods around. He's a kid, maybe a couple of years older than me, and he's whatever. And we talk. We have a decent working relationship. So he asked me, and I was single at the time. He asked me if I wanted to go on a blind date with his girlfriend or fiance's sister. I say, sure. Why not? He talks about how hot she is and all this other stuff. He's praising her up and down. I'm like, okay, fine. He's bigging it up. He's building it up. And so we go out and I meet her, and she's okay, being generous. Nice girl. There didn't seem to be a mean bone in her body, right? And she was bubbly and she was sweet, but a little airheaded. And just no chemistry there, really. And so had a good time, polite. Pretty sure I paid for lunch or whatever it was I think it was lunch we met. And went home, went about my business. And this is back in the time of AOL Instant Messenger. That was still a thing. And so we messaged a little bit. Hey, had a great time. Thanks. Me too. Whatever. But I was pretty much, I wasn't going to go any further. And so the next following Monday, he's like, hey, how'd it go? How did you feel? He was there with us with his girlfriend / fiance, whatever. He goes, what'd you think? I was thinking, oh, she's sweet. She's nice, but didn't really, wasn't love at first sight, right? I don't think she's my type. Dude, this was you would have thought that I had actually seriously insulted his mother. He was incensed. And he started getting upset. He goes, "What's wrong with her? You think she's ugly? You think she's blah, 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 blah?" I was like, no, I don't have any of these problems. I was like, it just wasn't chemistry there. I'm not interested in going forward with it. But she's nice. I mean, thank you for introducing us. Now I'm sorry. Now I am sorry I said yes. I should have said I was doing something different, like washing my hair. Wasn't available to go on this stupid date. And he has got a case of the feelings. And so he's driving this forklift. He's flying up and down the warehouse road with it. And he comes to bring me, because I not only did I put the floorings in, but I also put the bar that would go across the end and the gates. And so he's bringing the gates over on it, and he comes flying up like he's going to hit me. So it's me in this, bit large equipment shed that we use to stash the wood and do the assembly there. And then behind me, there's a bunch of lumber, and that's it. Like, he's going to crush me. So I jump up, and then jump across onto the forklift pallet with the trailer ramps. And so while I get there, I go across and I reach across into the front of the cab while he's there. I take out the keys and I chuck them chuck them all the way across the yard. I said, you're never going to bring this forklift in here like that again. And so he gets up, he wants to fight. I want to fight. We start fighting, throwing punches. He can't fight very well. Look, I've had my tail whooped my fair share. He couldn't fight very well. And I was handling it. Just fine. But I did see that the owner of the company was coming out of the building. And so I just, I grabbed him, grappled him, and I was like, hey, we'll pick this up later, but I'm not getting fired over you. We'll see how that turns out. And he's like, yeah, after work. I'm like, yep, sure. We'll let it go. We'll let it rip. I'm ready to go. So lunchtime hits, clock out. I'm heading out. Heading out of the air park to go to the Sheets and do my normal lunch routine. Well, I'm in this Jeep. The Jeep I was driving at the time, 97 Wrangler, right? Traditional 2-door, because they weren't making 4-doors then. Not that I would have a 4-door Jeep anyway. Sat on a 6.5-inch suspension lift and a 3-inch body lift. 35 15 1250s tires. It was not it wasn't a monster, but it was a rather large Jeep. And so I'm heading out there, and he comes out like ready to go. And I'm like, dude, we're doing this after work. We're not doing, I'm clocked out. I got like 15 minutes to go get my lunch, come back, eat it, and then get back to work. And so he's like, no, we're going now. I was like, stop me then. And so he went to swing because my window was down. It's the middle of May. Went to swing and punch me while I'm driving, but he misses and he catches the back end of the door of the inside of the door. So he's reached in, and so the door catches him, and I'm moving forward at this point. And so it basically like just punts him. The impact breaks his arm and punts him a few feet in front of the Jeep, because I'd stopped as soon as he did that. And I looked down, and he's like, my arm. I was like, yeah, I bet you feel stupid. You just tried to punch a moving vehicle. And then I drove off and got my lunch and came back. Now, this gentleman had gotten his job by because his mama worked in the office next door to where we worked. And so when he got hurt, he went running to his mama. She took him to the industrial area medical place. And so the next time I see him, it's standing behind the foreman who is cursing me out. I'm fired without saying. And he's got his arm in a sling. It's bandaged, but it's not like he doesn't have it in a cast. And so he's like, "You're fired." Okay, fine. Whatever. I'll get another job. So so apparently his mama, when he told her his side of the story, called the police, the local sheriff's department, because we don't have police in Hanover County. We have a sheriff's office. Deputy shows up, and it was on the job lot. It was in the parking lot on the job. Yeah. So the deputy shows up. He gets his statement, and he gets my statement, and I tell him basically what I've told you guys. And he goes, "You two are idiots." He goes, "I can arrest both of y'all right now." Oh, yeah, Alex. I probably, and that's not, that wasn't the first time I'd gotten into a fight on the premises in front of the supervisor either. But he goes, I can arrest you both. Is that what you want? And I said, no, no, sir. No, sir. He says the same thing. He's polite. Every cooler heads, his fiery hot temper had cooled, and mine had cooled as well. Plus, broke his arm, right? So he goes, he said, so you gonna press charges? No. You gonna press charges? No. I don't want to ever see you two again. And he wouldn't have to because I wasn't working there anymore. I think he got to stay on because of his mama. What he did was way more dangerous, though. But that was fine. Got a better paying job 2 months later, so I was fine. Maybe a month later, I can't even remember. So, yeah, that's how that went. And oddly enough, I met a girl that read later on that day, and we started dating, which is great because if I'd been trying to make it work with the other gal, then I probably wouldn't have hit it off with that girl. So, what a time to be alive. And that to me is sometimes how things need to talk about mutual combat. If you listen to Nick's show, you hear about the mutual combat stuff. And, sometimes if everybody's okay at the end, you get somebody's got to come in there, tell everybody that they're acting stupid and childish, and tell them to go take a hike and that you don't want to see them again. And neither of us had been in trouble with the law before. So there was no sense in getting it. And like he said, he came out there and attacked me. And kind of, in a way, I didn't do anything wrong to him other than when we got in the fight. What he was pissed at me about was getting into the fight with him on the site when we were throwing punches. If it had just been him throwing a punch at me in the vehicle and then me leaving, I wouldn't have had it. It would have been anything on me. I did laugh at him when I left, though. My head poking out the window, going, "Ha ha, you idiot! So dumb, you hit a moving car." But that was certainly an experience. He was the aggressor when I'm watching the video footage as you were leaving. That's what everyone says. You left the scene? That's what most people say. You left the scene after you hit him? Yeah. If I'd have run him over, yeah, maybe I would have been the aggressor. But he swung at me. I was trying to leave. Um, but he kept his job and I didn't. So, you decide, who won or who lost. I had to eat. I was hungry. It's lunchtime. I'm hourly. Should have biblically hit him. It was over. I didn't think that I had broken his arm. I knew it had to hurt. I knew it had to hurt because I'm moving probably at 2-3 miles an hour, but he's swinging like he is swinging, and it just pop. Neo's had enough of the overalls. Can't take it no more tonight. See y'all next week. Have a good weekend. Neo, have a good weekend. Be safe. Be good. Alex Moore, your duty to retweet. Look, be hard to convict, right? The law of self-defense. It's just a picture of a Jeep. Oh, daggone. Neo, yeah, get some rest. Go get some rest. But yeah. Yeah, I used to live a life a little bit more hot-headed. And half of my fights were with friends. Just how it happened. Just how it happens. Okay, let me put it back up here too, because I missed one. Blaine said there are two types of electricians. The old one that works slow and charges by the hour, the young one who yeets a cable and leaves. Yeah, we should all share ex-girlfriend horror stories. I can read them. Just remember, this is on the internet. Internet's permanent ink. John Smoth, no surprise, had a forklift license too. Most manly feeling in the world. Dude, having a forklift license makes me want to just strip down into my birthday suit and just drive around on that forklift without a care in the world. Nernath, the correct term is smote. I should have smote him. Yesterday hit meant 5 or 6 times. If once broke his arm, a couple more finishes the deal. But then I've committed murder. Blaine. Over what? Him trying to kill me? Him trying to kill me with a forklift, a large forklift, because I didn't think his girlfriend's sister was girlfriend material. I only got into fights until I was 14. Then I got a job with a retired U.S. Marine sergeant, got yelled at enough to straighten me out. People do die over popcorn. I don't want to die over popcorn, and that's the thing. I put myself into some of these positions or some of these perspectives, like when I watch Popcorn Guy, when I watch some of the things that happen in the news, some of the things that happen in these court cases. Not the Dumpster Bros. Dumpster Bros was dumb as hell. And then you're an ant, right? At the same time I'm saying it pops up. People die over mattresses. That one is insane. That one's insane. But yeah, the popcorn thing. I don't know. I don't know if I act aggressively, but I could put myself into position. Like if I'm in the wrong mood, you hit me in the wrong mood at the wrong time, and I think this is true for a lot of people. If you're in the wrong mood at the wrong time and you get caught in a situation, you can end up in a potentially life-threatening situation that you may not walk away from, or the other person may not walk away from, and then your life is over. All right. Talking with my buddy about the UFO stream. We might have to do might have to do the UFO stream in the middle of the day sometime. So read about the War of the Bucket. Okay. I might do that. Hang on, let me respond real quick. Brian, I'm gonna send you a text. When did you think you saw her? Because she was either driving that or she was driving my Stinger. While he's doing that, let's look about the War of the Bucket. Thinking about forklift certification so much, I put where as in warehouse. Inside the War of the Bucket, the medieval Italian battle sparked by the theft of a wooden pail. In 1325, the Italian city-states of Bologna and Modena engaged in a short-lived war that allegedly started when Modenese soldiers stole a wooden bucket. Oh, look, if this is about esprit de corps, that's a whole other thing. That's a whole nother thing. Let me share this. There's a thing about pride. So, I got a story. We'll get to that in a second. During the medieval period, what we know today as Italy was not a unified country, and it would not be fully unified until 1871. Blah, 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 blah. In 1154, Holy Roman Empire. Frederick Barbarossa of Germany decided he should be king of Italy, declaring himself God's chosen earthly representative. Popery was disinclined to agree. At this point in history, the Pope was always the one who bestowed spiritual recognition on European Christian rulers. Barbarossa responded to these concerns from the Italians by saying, make me. After talks with Pope Alexander III failed, Barbarossa continued to lay siege to Italy until his defeat at the Battle of Joey Logano, by the pro-papist Lombardy League in 1176. Barbarossa retreated back to Germany, but his parting gift to Italy was a major political rift that would keep the city-states feuding with each other for centuries. Barbarossa. Lol. He drowned in a river while on his way to a crusade. He never made it. Hard to not to like some of the things. Barbarossa's activities sometimes are very fun to read about. Barbarossa's siege may have been over, but conflict was alive and well in Italy. Two factions emerged from the war. The Ghibelline, who cares? Who supported the Holy Roman Emperor Ites and the Guelphs who favored the papists and the anti-papists. The political division led to resentment and rivalries, which meant later on we would hear about Romeo and Juliet. Bologna and Modena were two such bordering city-states that were on opposite sides of the political spectrum. Bologna was papist, and Modena was anti-papist. Makes sense. Short stream. Outbreak of the War of the Oaken Bucket. I like the drama here. One night in 1325, several Modenese soldiers infiltrated the city walls of Bologna. They spotted a bucket at a public well, seized it, and hightailed it out of the city, delighted with their big victory. I mean, this is after the Trojan War and the Trojan horse, right? You realize this. Is this kind of like when kids used to trace a hoop with a stick? I feel like this is really. I feel like this isn't very intelligent. They infiltrated the, so we broke into the city walls. Oh, we're in. We've infiltrated. Look, this is medieval Splinter Cell. Or for the more Konami fans, Metal Gear Solid, sneaking in wooden crates, upside down wooden crates. Yes, before Hoop and Stick. How's it going, Carl? I know plenty of people where Carl's from wear overalls like I do. All right. Upon discovering the missing bucket, the Bologna people were infuriated and demanded its return. What? Was this a special bucket? What was the significance? How did they know it was missing? And how did they know that the other guys were? I mean, maybe they were dancing on the other side of the world, like, ha, look what we did. Maybe they told him. Maybe it's like the kids, are you missing something? Maybe you should go look at it. Maybe you should go look for something, see what's missing. And then they hold up the bucket. Upon discovering the missing bucket, the Bologna people were infuriated and demanded its return. The modernists were not amenable to this demand and refused. Incensed and humiliated, Bologna declared all-out war on Modena. And with that, the War of the Bucket commenced. Between Bologna and Modena was considered the underdog. Compared to Bologna, the city-state had significantly fewer resources and soldiers, and it didn't have a first name or a second name. OSCAR-MEYER. Bologna assembled over 32,000 troops and brought in forces from other northern Italian papist people, contingencies for backup. They even managed to get the Pope actively on their side. Pope John the 22nd reportedly declared Modena's chief magistrate a heretic and stepped up to lead an army of foot soldiers against Modena. This is getting out of hand. Did the Pope talk to God about this? Look, we're in the middle of 2 Kings. We've talked about David, Joshua, and other kings talking to God. Hey, should I commit to the field of battle? And God saying yes or no. I feel like the Pope might have just done this on his own. Oh, look at that. Modena managed to gather only 7,000 soldiers. On the surface, they looked as if they were surely doomed to suffer a miserable defeat at the hands of Bologna's army and their allies. However, Modena had the distinct advantage of having professionally trained German soldiers in their army. This feels Reichish now, due to the Modenese status as anti-papists who supported a German Holy Roman Emperor. Bologna's army was technically bigger, but their troops consisted of a mostly untrained militia, i.e. the PFI. With their more experienced soldiers, the Modenese confronted the Bologna people outside the town of Zappolino. Due to the chaos and disorganization of Bologna's troops, Modena soon overwhelmed them, forcing the Bolognese to retreat. between the two sides, it's estimated that there were approximately 2,000 casualties. Not a lot, to be honest with you. The Balonies, overwhelmed and humiliated, had no choice but to call off the attack and remain within the safety of their city walls, bucketless. The Modenese continued to taunt the Balonies by staging a mock decathlon right outside the city, and they reportedly even stole a second bucket for good measure. I love it. I love it. Look, this is what, and this is, you learn this when you are in a combat zone as part of a much more disciplined, trained, effective, and capable fighting force going up against literal who's. And so this is the kind of mischief professional soldiers will get into because peacocking has been around forever. So we beat them, right? The Modenese beat the Balonies and then start staging a mock decathlon. Steal another one. The lasting aftermath of the bizarre war. Of course, the War of the Bucket was much more than an actual bucket. In fact, some historians say the pail itself wasn't actually stolen until Medina had already defeated Bologna in battle. I mean, like, we didn't steal your stupid bucket, but now we have. Centuries of discord led up to the conflict, and the bucket, if it did truly exist, was simply the straw that broke the camel's back. The war eventually fizzled out, and in January of 1326, an armistice was signed by the two rivals that temporarily settled matters. That really poured a bucket of ice water over them. That was a bad joke. Conflict, however, would continue between them, the two factions, for another 2 centuries until Italy was invaded by Charles I of Spain in 1529. While Modena and Bologna grudgingly called a ceasefire, Bologna never had their bucket returned. The Modenese proudly displayed the bucket up in the bell tower of their cathedral, the Torre della Ghirlandaia, whatever, just to continue to rub Bologna's face in its defeat. Modena still has the bucket to this day. A replica now hangs in the bell tower, but what is said to be the original bucket is on display in some place in Italy. And even now, 700 years later, the bucket is still a source of playful dispute between the two cities. Who's got the bucket? I bet you it's only playful for one of the sides. Alex more appropriately pointing out that the nap was violated when the bucket being stolen. Allegedly. All right, folks. It's a good hour. It's relaxing. Thank you, Nernath. That was a great story to share. We need to do that more often. And I know I probably look pretty tired because, like I said, it's been a long week. And my hair's unkempt. My beard's all over the place. And I'm wearing overalls. Drinking vodka and a limeade from Sonic. Try to find more stories about buckets. Well, look, you know the most famous story about buckets is Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Because it's Charlie Bucket and his miserable grandfather, Grandpa Joe. And now thinking about it, that makes our current president seem all the more distasteful. All right. With that being said, weekend time is upon us, right? Weekend time is upon us. We have a glue pot story, not really bucket. Don't care. Share it with me. That's perfect for these things. We are going to conclude the stream until Monday. All right. I'm in talks to have Blaine have an episode on the Solas and have an episode about UFOs. I got a couple other people I need to reach out to. Oh, Thaddeus Patrick coming on, talk about iconography. Yeah. And now there's a guy I'm going to reach out to talk more about Grace Community Church, John MacArthur, and all the kind of the news surrounding that. Because I did a stream on this last year, but it was just me reading an article. The guy in the YouTube video I'm watching, seems to have his ducks in a row a little bit more. Knows people who go to the church and can give a better accounting of it. And he might be, and it sounds like he's coming from a similar position than or is landing in a similar position to me. This will be interesting. All right. Nothing too crazy. Glue pot kicked by a donkey, burned down the city. Yeah, there's got to be more to that than that. All right, Blaine, Ernath, Alex, Carl, Nico, Brian. Let's see. Neo, who's going to sleep. Have a good night. John Smoth, always swooping in with a comment. Porcupine. I said Nico all right. If I haven't said Nico yet, Nico. Iconography? You mean graven images? Lol. Or is this the study of the history of meaning and imagery or the actual icons themselves? We will see what we get into. All right. Thaddeus is Orthodox. And if you don't know, for those of you guys who don't know, Orthodoxy has a fair share of iconography in their denomination as well. So he is going to come on to defend it, and he is a very, I don't think this was before most of you guys joined the channel. He is very good at listening and answering questions. He's an awesome dude. And I enjoy his very considered and brotherly comments about Christianity. So, and then Erneas says, we can look at the molasses flood next time. Okay. I may have dropped my phone while listening, nodded off a bit. Apparently my stories are boring, but it's the weekend. It's Friday night, guys. Friday night. Go get some rest. Go have some fun. Take some time. Spend it with your friends or family. Go to church on Sunday. Worship. Remember the Lord. He loves you. He thinks you're a worthy person, worthy enough to put on this earth and get a shot to salvation. You guys, love having you guys on the show. Thank you very much. Have a great night, and God bless. And daggone it, Porcupine, go to bed. Take it easy, everybody.